Comedy legend Don Rickles made millions. Laughed for 60 years, but his family stayed silent about the real story. In 2024, his daughter Mindy finally broke that silence. What she revealed shocked everyone who thought they knew the Mr. Warmth behind the insults. The mob threats were real. The family tragedies were worse than anyone imagined. And the guilt he carried about his son's death nearly destroyed him. Today, we're uncovering the dark secrets that Don Rickles took to his grave and why his family waited so long to tell the truth. Don Rickles was born on May 8, 1926, in Jackson Heights, Queens. His parents were Jewish immigrants. His father, Max, came from Lithuania, and his mother, Ada, was the daughter of Austrian Jews. Their home was filled with stories from the old world. Life was hard but full of energy. They spoke Yiddish at the table and followed Orthodox Jewish traditions. Don grew up hearing stories about struggle, war, and survival. He learned early on how to find humor in pain. That would become the heart of his comedy later on. At New Town High School, Don wasn't a good student. His grades were poor, but he stood out in other ways. He became president of the Dramatic Society. Teachers noticed that even if he didn't study much, he lit up the stage. He made fun of classmates and even teachers, right to their faces. Everyone called him the Clown Prince. He graduated during World War II and got what he called a war diploma, meant to push young men into the military. Even in a strict school, his wild humor broke through. When he turned 18, Don joined the Navy. He served from 1943 to 1946. He was stationed on the USS Cyrene, a ship that supported torpedo boats in the Pacific. The heat was unbearable, the work was hard, and the danger was always nearby. Don joked that the crew was rotting from the humidity, but in that misery, his comedy helped people cope. His shipmates remembered how his jokes lifted their spirits. By the time he left the Navy, Don had learned how to turn fear into laughter. That became the weapon he used for the rest of his life. Back home, he tried something more stable. His father urged him to become an insurance salesman. Don put on a suit and gave it a shot, but it didn't work. He couldn't make a sale. His humor didn't fit with door-to-door sales. People slammed doors on him, and he hated it. That failure crushed him, but it also pushed him to find his true path. His mother encouraged him to do what made him happy. That support helped him break free from the typical post-war grind. In 1948, Don enrolled at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. It was a big step. He trained alongside future stars like Grace Kelly and Jason Rhodes. But drama wasn't his thing. His serious roles made people laugh, and not in a good way. Still, when he was allowed to ad-lib or play funny characters, everything clicked. He realized that failing at drama was actually a good thing. That failure helped him find what he was truly meant to do. The Academy gave him the space to discover a whole new kind of comedy. In the early 1950s, Don started performing in the Catskill Mountains. He needed money, and those small resorts were a place to get work. Audiences were close to the stage and loved to heckle. One night, people started shouting at him mid-act. Instead of ignoring them, Don snapped back. He insulted them with quick, sharp jokes. The crowd roared with laughter. That was the moment everything changed. His harsh, cold style wasn't just tolerated. It was loved. From then on, he leaned into it. He didn't back down from hecklers. He embraced them and made them part of the show. That's also when the phrase hockey puck was born. In the rough nightclubs of New York and Miami, Don needed a harmless insult that wouldn't get him punched. So he started calling people hockey pucks. It made no sense, but it was funny. People laughed, and the phrase stuck. Years later, when he voiced Mr. Potato Head in Toy Story, they even included it in the script. That one silly insult became part of pop culture thanks to those wild early shows. From 1950 to 1970, Don performed almost nonstop. He played in clubs most people avoided, strip joints, rundown lounges, even mob run night spots. Sometimes he did 3 shows a night, every day of the week. Audiences were often rude, drunk, or downright dangerous. But Don didn't quit. He sharpened his skills. He learned how to shut down hecklers fast. And every insult he delivered in those years helped shape the act that would later pack theaters in Vegas and get him onto national TV. The tough crowds built his stage armor. There was one night in New Jersey that nearly went too far. Don was doing his usual routine when he saw a man and his wife in the crowd. He made a joke about her size, comparing her to a moose. What he didn't know was that the man was connected to the mob. The room went silent. After the show, Don was called backstage. He feared the worst, but the man laughed and bought him drinks. It was risky, but moments like that became part of Don's legend. He was fearless, even when he probably shouldn't have been. Don Rickles had spent nearly 20 years trying to get noticed. He was already 32 when he landed his first film role in Run Silent, Run Deep in 1958. That age might have been fine in real life, but in Hollywood, he was already behind. Most actors his age were established, but Rickles didn't just get a background role. He found himself on screen with Clark Gable and Burt Lancaster. He played a quartermaster in a submarine during World War II. It was a serious movie. No jokes, no comedy. And Rickles pulled it off. He delivered a performance that didn't feel like a nightclub act, but like someone who belonged on screen with legends. It surprised audiences and changed his path. He finally broke into the world he had only dreamed of while growing up in Queens. Things took a strange turn in the 1960s. Rickles found himself stuck in a series of movies that were all sun, sand, and nonsense. Films like Muscle Beach Party and Bikini Beach seemed like fun at first, easy money, harmless fun, but they nearly wrecked his career. He played goofy adult characters while teenagers danced and surfed around him. Critics hated the films. Directors stopped seeing him as someone who could handle more serious or even smart comedic roles. His agent, who was married to Annette Funicello, one of the stars,